Mike Owens with Inside Fighting, joined today by Navajo Stirling, who returns to action at UFC 315, facing Ivan Irslan. Navajo, always a pleasure, my man. How are emotions ahead of your return?
Yeah. No, it's good to be back. Good to be back fighting again. Bro, I've just been going balls to the wall in the gym, getting ready for the start of the year. So I've had like a long, slow grind to this fight, so it's good to finally be fighting again and yeah, kick this year off with a banger.
First time going to the great country of Canada?
Yeah, my first time. I don't know what to expect. I'm kind of just there for business,
Mm.
so nothing really changes. But yeah, it's cool to just be able to travel for work, or
You know,
fighting.
I've been around a lot of fight weeks, and some fighters enjoy fight week. Some fighters, the mask goes over their face pretty quick, and it's just business. Are
Yeah,
you one of those fighters who's able to enjoy the course of fight
yeah,
week, or do you just kind of switch pretty quickly?
yeah. I try to enjoy it because you've got like you don't want to be sitting in your thoughts the whole fight
Mm.
week. It's good to just get busy with it and just enjoy it because it's a UFC fight week, man. Like people, it's not a regular thing. Like it's something that
Mm.
I'm be privileged to do. And then even though I'm like on the bottom end of the cards on the prelims and stuff. The dream is in the journey, bro. Like the start, you're like, I'm gonna like when I think about myself as a champion, I want to be looking back at times like this, like, man, remember then when I fought my second fight in the UFC,
Mm.
and I want to be able to like cherish those moments, and yeah, that's why I just try to enjoy the whole process of it all. Like
Did,
it's just too the career is too short to not,
mm.
so it's not often you get to do it, so you got to enjoy the process while you can, and yeah, it just takes your mind off the fight, and as well as the weight cut. The weight cut's the only thing I don't look forward
Mm.
to, but it takes my mind off that as well. So yeah, keeps me busy.
The dream is in the journey.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that quote?
Oh, I don't know. I've just heard that like so many, big people say that,
Mm.
and man, like they talk about like, man, I remember how I was when I was on the come up, and having that drive and having all of that. And I feel that way now. Like I've just got like this insatiable hunger for the sport. And I'm like really trying to utilize my youth and yeah, push myself to the limit and yeah, really savor these moments in as well because they're not gonna come around ever so often. And the fighting game of career can be so short. And it's like, man, like when I think about now, and even when I think about when I wasn't in the UFC, getting ready for it or trying to get into it, I think about all the moments and how I was then, and I think like, man, that what a time that was, and
Mm.
now it's like going through that motion again, like the journey to prove myself again, to prove myself that I'm meant to be there, and I got that chip on my shoulder, so yeah, I'm excited.
The main man, Israel Adesanya, had very high praise for you. I saw you repost some of the kind words he had to say when he was last on Joe Rogan. I think one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
points you mentioned was how he feels like you're the next gen of fighters coming out of your gym. It must be. I know that you guys obviously have a very close relationship, and I know that you
yeah,
helped him a lot in the Alex Pereira fights, and I'm sure in others. But must be nice to get such high praise off one of the greatest fighters to grace our sport.
yeah. Like I always said to him, like, oh, you don't have to shout me out, bro, because I will do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become great myself. I want to do it my way. I never felt like I needed to back end off a success or anything,
Mm.
but like, I, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Like I still enjoy it, and I'm like willing to take the pressure on. I want like New Zealand. I feel like in New Zealand culture, we often like shy away from big moments, or if we get high praise, like we shy away from that a little because
Mm.
we don't want to like absorb the hype and like what could be a downfall as well. But I'm just like, man, stuff it. Like if that's how everyone else is, I'm not gonna be like that. Just put it all on me. I'm willing to rise to the occasion. I want to be a world champion and go further than that. So you're just gonna have to like eat these big moments up, bro, and go far. Like because not a lot of people are willing to do that. Like a lot of fighters just want to slide through and get their
Mm.
thing done and get out of there. But man, if I have to, oh, I don't mind like speaking my mind and getting out, putting myself out there for the world to see. And yeah, it was just yeah, that's like mad to get praise from him. It's like he's on the world stage, like he's proven himself time and time again. And yeah, I can't wait to be the fourth, like the next runner up for the next generation. Like at our gym, I am the like guy that's leading the younger guys in, being like the youngest, like sort of UFC fighter from our gym.
Who's your biggest role model in the gym? Either in or outside the gym, for that matter.
Uh, Man, I don't know. I'd say, man, I look up to everyone like in a different way. Like
Mm.
not necessarily like one. I don't have like one. Like obviously, Israel's like a big influence. Just seeing him, I think like seeing all the things that he's had and everything he's created for himself has kind of let me know that that's possible for me and like what I can do for my family and like just taking my name out of like that from a blue collar family to you know g- setting my family up for generations. That's what I would love to do.
Mm.
That would be awesome. He's given me like that inspiration that way, and as well as like just putting going all in on not necessarily like not being humble, but like being yourself and then not being afraid to put yourself out
Mm.
there. I think is a good one. And yeah, like Dan Hooker as well, like just like keeping like the boys solid, like staying like he's like real hardy, and like keeps us from being not being soft and like Eugene as well, like the coaches, like they I like look up to him a lot as well, and just like the way he carries himself, and I just like really enjoy my team and as a whole and what how we condone things. Because I've seen like other gyms and I like see what they do, and I'm like, man, like I don't know how I feel about that, or you know what I mean, like.
Mm.
I mean, because I've trained in New Zealand my whole life. Like you see, like your typical UFC fighter, right, has done like camps all over the world,
Yeah.
and they've trained at this gym, and then they train at that gym. But man, I'm like a New Zealander, like a just
Mm.
a straight up Kiwi. I never trained in Thailand. I never trained with this big wrestling gym or with all these like Russian guys or anything like
Mm.
that, bro. I just trained with like one set of guys, and I've gone this far doing that. Like, yeah, I think it's just like so different for me for sure.
Can we talk about that? Because you mentioned family a second ago, and you mentioned spending the entirety of your career training in New Zealand.
Yeah,
You put out a video on your socials talking about your family history and your Maori culture. Talk to me a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit about how important it is to represent the Maori people on the world stage.
yeah, yeah. Like for the Māoris, like we don't really have like a lot of big role models, and fighting is quite like big in New Zealand. Like it's getting bigger and bigger, especially with like the rise of City Kickboxing and how we're like slowly, even though we're a small country, like we've like brought ourselves to be like a powerhouse in MMA today. Like our guys are always in the top contenders for the UFC. Like that has to put us up there. And you know, like for us, like I never had any role models to look up to growing up. Like I wasn't like looking at many Māori athletes that had done anything great. Like I don't know anyone, and I never knew anyone with similar like like similar what is it lifestyle
Mm.
or like life situations growing up that had made it. So that led me to believe as a kid growing up thinking like, oh, I wasn't really born into like a rich family, or I didn't go to like top private schools to make it in rugby or league. And
Mm.
that, like just like thinking of like that had already put me in a hole, even though that's not the case. You can like really work hard for something. That's how I was taught to believe growing up. And
Mm.
if I can do something and be like, you know what, like like if I could say to like every Kiwi and Māori, like I grew up with both working, like both classes of people, I grew up with like my mates that were like in the hood, or like, on some, oh, only the Kiwis are gonna get this, but like on some once were warriors type shit, like like friends and stuff that were in gangs and all that stuff. I had mates like that, and those are the kind of people I grew up around, and the fact that I'm like making it now, it will can kind of show those people like you guys can make it too, if you work hard, and that's what fighting has given me. So, oh, sorry.
No problem.
um, yeah, like if I can do that for our people, which is quite often, man, like that's a huge thing, and I'm willing to take that role on for us because it's like, man, we need someone, we need
Mm,
someone to get behind, so to inspire ourselves. Like, man, if I want people to be like, man, if he did it, well, he was going to a normal job, he didn't have no like special thing. He fought his way to get to City Kickboxing. He fought his way tooth and nail. He called out people. He hustled. I want people to like look at my career like that and be like, you know what? If he done it like that, I can do it too. And man, like that's what I'm trying to do now. Like, is even though I haven't even like done much in the UFC, I'm just trying to like help the people, see my story and hear what I have to say about what I've done so far. But I'm just like, man, get ready for what's next because I've got like a whole lot more to go.
I
So
love it.
yeah,
I love the thought of being a role model for your community. That's a great thing to hear.
yeah.
Before we turn the conversation back to yourself, did Magomed Ankalaev solve the Alex Pereira problem at UFC 313 in your opinion?
Yeah, yeah, I felt like we didn't see the best Alex Pereira
Mm,
that we've seen. And then he later obviously announced that he had injuries.
mm,
But yeah, you never know. Like like people always dealing with injuries and stuff. So you never know like how bad it is. And but I thought Magomed's game plan was good. Like I think he realized the rounds were getting close, and just to tie him up along the cage and just win that can kind of seal these rounds with control time. It might not have been very significant or like huge for the fans, but man, it's smart because guess what? You're a champion, and
yeah,
not a lot of people like that. But you beat the guy that was the guy, and now all of a sudden everyone's like forgotten about him. Like, I haven't heard much about Pereira for a while. I think he'll come back, obviously, but it's crazy how fast you can like knock someone off and like that. That was
yeah,
just
it is.
unstoppable with just like a simple game plan. I thought it was smart on Ankalaev's part, and I thought, yeah, it was a good. It's good for me to like watch. Like I really enjoy watching these, even though like less boring for the fans. It's very like super close, and
Yeah.
I enjoy watching it because you get to see like what's going on in championship level MMA.
What do you make of the top of the light heavyweight division at the moment? I mean, there's some older contenders, there's some newer faces. Is there a particular guy who you look at and go, one day if I keep doing what I'm doing and the stars align, me and him locked in a cage for 15 or 25 minutes would be absolute
Yeah.
poetry.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would love to fight. Jiri Prochazka is probably like one of my guys for that.
Mm.
Just I think I would be a good star matchup. Um, Man, Jamahal Hill as well. Jamahal Hill, I would like to fight him. Just like the technical style matchup, and I just feel like as some of those guys, I feel like my athleticism will take over. I seen Yuri in Vegas when I was there doing shooting at UFC Next Level, and I was just like, man, this guy's small.
Mm.
He's not a very big light heavyweight. Like, and then I was right because I saw he'd like came in at like 206 pounds, like prior to or like 208 or something on fight week, and then only cut like 2 or 3 pounds. I'm like, man, I'm cutting from like 103, kilos, which is like what's that like two almost like 225,
Mm.
two. almost 230 pounds,
Yeah.
and I make weight easy. Like that's not hard for me, you know. Like and I just feel like, man, if I put hands on like some of these guys, you know, like as well as being like a technical fighter, like I don't by no means do I like rely on my athleticism. I just feel like, yeah, as I get to that stage as well, I'll be in my like prime, you know. Like it's just I just think about like my potential, and I feel like I will just like run through those kind of guys, and I can't wait to show it. You know, obviously I can talk about it, but
Mm.
yeah, I just thought, you know, I'm just letting everyone know for now.
We'll leave you with this last question, and thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Talk me through what happens on the 10th of May when you face Ivan Irslan. You can be as brief or as detailed as you like, but talk me
yeah.
through how you envisage and how you visualize this fight going.
I definitely envision this to fight to have the energy that's gonna like really bring the crowd in. I can definitely see us like going toe to toe in the middle, and I believe I'm gonna come out on top, man. I got the mindset, bro. Like I push. I've never given up in my life, and I'm really good at seeing people fold under my pressure. And yeah, I'm looking for a finish by any means, whether it's on the floor or on the feet. Man, I'm coming for a finish this fight,
I love
big
it.
time.
I love it. Well, look, always a pleasure catching up. Thank you for staying up late to speak with me. It's always a pleasure.
Good
Have a
brother.
great and safe rest of camp, and best of luck for the next fight.
Thank you, brother. Cheers.